Let's now reactivate packed coil that has been in the mouth for at least 1 month in the anterior segment on 016 nai-tai wire. First, we must size the coil. In general, 2 to 3 millimeters of extra coil beyond the space is sufficient. In smaller spaces, less coil can be used. The general rule is to pack an additional size of the adjacent bracket width in the space between the two teeth. In this case, the bracket has not been even placed on the central incisor, anticipating the placement of packed coil to make space for this blocked out tooth. After the space is gained, we will then be able to tie in that tooth normally after placing a bracket to attain the level and alignment stage. Steel ligature ties must be placed on each side of the activated coil to prevent rotation of the adjacent teeth. Elastic ligatures are not sufficient to prevent rotations. When placing coil on nai-tai wire for reactivation, it is not necessary to untie the entire arch wire and remove it. The nai-tai wire may be deflected outside of the patient's mouth without distortion, allowing the removal and then the adjustment of the coil length and then replacement of that coil onto the wire. Merely untie the side that is desired for the coil activation. On this lower cuspid, you'll see that the cuspid is still rotated on the distal lingual. The coil on the mesial should be tied in to avoid rotation, and activation of the coil may cause that tooth to further rotate. So on this tooth, we will place 2 ligature ties. A rotation tie on the mesial for the purpose of tightly housing the packed coil, and then a rotation tie on the distal to prevent further rotation of the cuspid. Again, remember that the pigtails are placed on the side that the wire must be deflected the most. In this case, on the distal tie wing, the pigtail goes to the distal, where on the mesial tie wing, the pigtail went to the mesial to house the packed coil. Be sure not to pack coil in the posterior segment on 016 nai-tai. It is often helpful to tie in the middle of the nai-tai wire where the coil is stretched. The purpose is to keep the activated coil out of the patient's lips and to obtain a better activation of the packed coil in between the adjacent teeth. In this case, a double overtie will be tied to the middle of the space holding the coil in with the finger towards the tooth will also provide an anterior moment for the blocked out tooth.